Hello there. Question for you. Have you pulled for Wanderer or not? Well, I imagine two main scenarios. You either pulled for Wanderer on the very first day the new banner came out on 3.3 update with no self-control, just like me. Or you are one of those few leftover GigaChat people who managed to think about if you really need this character and if he is worth to have in your team. I will introduce you with a few bits of information to help understand on Wanderer's playstyle and role in a team. Maybe that will help you change your mind completely if you want him or not, and maybe consider pulling for him on his rerun banner. As if you will be seeing this video after it has come out, the Wanderer has unfortunately departed and switched with Raiden Shogun and Kamisato Ayato. Without further ado, let's cover his talent kit, artifact sets with recommended stats, his best weapon choices, and team compositions. Wanderer is a 5-star animal damage dealer catalyst user who has his normal, charged and plunge attacks infused with his respective animal element. Normal attacks release series of wind blades, charged attacks build up stamina to release a small animal AoE blast, and regular catalyst plunge attack, nothing special about it. Next is the elemental burst. I am going to cover it first as it's fairly straightforward and it's not really the main source of damage, just a nice bonus. Wanderer stomps down on enemies, releasing an animal damage AoE with 5 separate damage ticks. For his elemental skill. To simplify, 3 things happen when Wanderer uses his E. First, he is granted a wind-favored state and detaches from the ground. Second, Wanderer gets a boost for his normal and charged attacks. And 3, Wanderer is granted a separate stamina bar for that specific wind-favored state. Now for the changes in character actions when in wind-favored state. First, Wanderer cannot plunge. Second, charged attacks in wind-favored state do not consume Wanderer's special stamina bar. 3, the additional stamina bar naturally decreases even when not performing any actions. Number 4, sprinting or jumping. In this situation, Wanderer elevates himself higher. These 2 actions decrease his special stamina bar. 5, second cast of E will take Wanderer out of his wind-favored state if used before it naturally expires when additional stamina bar hits 0. For Wanderer's passives, his most important would be Jade Claimed Flower. If Wanderer's activated E comes in contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, and Electro, that instance of wind-favored state will obtain buffs depending on the element. Hydro, Wanderer's additional stamina cap in wind-favored state is increased by 20 points, while the original bar is considered 100 points. Pyro, attack is increased by 30%, Cryo, crit rate is increased by 20%, which is really nice, and Electro. When normal or charged attacks hit an opponent, 0.8 energy will be restored. Energy can be restored this way every 0.2 seconds. And for the last part, you can have up to 2 buffs at the same time. Second passive, Gales of Reverie. When the Wanderer in his wind-favored state hits an opponent with his normal or charged attacks, he has a 16% chance to produce a descent effect. When Wanderer accelerates in mid-air, his dash does not consume stamina from his additional stamina bar, and he will fire off 4 homing wind arrows that deal 35% animal damage of Wanderer's attack. If this effect is not produced, the next time those types of attacks will have an increased chance of 12% of producing it. The calculation of this effect production is made every 0.1 second. And for his last passive, Mora expended when ascending bows and catalyst is decreased by 50%. So it's a really nice way to save up some more. Now, how to prioritize the skills? As Wanderer's E and normal attack are the main sources of damage, I would go for them first and later the burst. I will level up Wanderer's talents up to 10 either way, but if you are low on materials or saving it up for some other character, then the previously mentioned order of prioritization would be recommended. For the artifacts, compared to other Animal Vision family members, this 5-star ranged catalyst user has a different way to perform. As an on-field DPS character, his stats priorities are different from most of the animal units. For a recommended Wanderer's best build, players should focus on the following stats on their artifacts. Sands would be attack percentage, goblet, animal damage bonus, circlet, crit rate or crit damage, and substats should be attack percentage, energy recharge, crit rate, and crit damage. In Wanderer's situation, his best artifact set is newly released Desert Pavilion Chronicles that can be obtained in City of Gold domain that has appeared in 3.3 update. Other artifact sets that the Wanderer can use are Shimenawa's Reminiscence that performs in a very similar manner, just like Desert Pavilion Chronicles, apart from not boosting anemo damage. Echoes of an Offering would be a fairly viable option, although I would recommend using these artifacts if no other artifacts are available at the moment and you have spare pieces from the set, as mainly it's worth farming only for Zhao and Kamisato Wayato and maybe few other characters. Or you could even use Viridescent Venereer artifact set, although this one is mostly recommended to be used on characters that profit more from elemental mastery, not like the Wanderer, whom you should focus on with attack percentage. If you have successfully obtained Wanderer's best in slot weapon, Tuletula's Remembrance, congratulations, have fun. I don't have it and I'm not going to talk about it too much, apart from that it's his best option for a weapon that increases normal attack damage and attack speed, also sub-status crit damage, so it's very nice. I would consider this weapon to be more niche and pull for it after careful consideration, knowing that guaranteed pity of your choice at worst case scenario can be reached after 2 unsuccessful 5-star pulls, depending on what you want. That would mean that you could potentially burn a chance to get yourself few additional 5-star characters, and in my opinion, better to have a bigger variety of characters than to go for a visually pleasing aesthetic when weapon design matches the character. Okay, so I know I might get some backlash for this because I did pull for the weapon banner and got Ito's weapon. Although not accepting the defeat, I was lucky to win 50-50 on character banner and pulled for Ito. I pretty much drained my luck reserves for at least half a year of these pulls. For the other 5-star alternatives, we have Kagura's Verity, Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds, Memory of Dust. Yes, Memory of Dust is a very viable option, just because it's highly recommended to use a shield character in Wanderer's team, and Skyward Atlas that I currently use for my Wanderer as I do not have any other options. If you have none of the mentioned 5-star weapons, here is a list of the 4 stars. The Widsith, Blackcliff Agate, Solar Pearl, and Dodoko Tales. The Widsith can be obtained in Wish banners, Solar Pearl can be obtained in Battle Pass rewards after purchasing Gnostic Hymn update, and Blackcliff Agate can be bought in Paimon's Bargains shop when Blackcliff weapons are out in the rotation. Even though Dodoko Tales is the best option out of the mentioned 4 stars, I'm putting it at the bottom of this list as this weapon was obtainable only during an exclusive event. Because Wanderer is meant to be played as an on-field damage dealer, his teams should be built around him to increase his damage output, provide him with heals, shield, and potentially use the elements he can infuse for his own self-applied buffs. Very important thing to know about Wanderer. If you want him to be the most effective on the battlefield, please get a shield character in your team, as his wind-favored state does not protect you from being staggered by enemy attacks. In worst case scenario, you will be juggled by the multiple ranged or even close-up attacks if you're not high enough in the air, meaning that your precious time of wind-favored state will be wasted, thus the damage output being lowered. One of his most popular team compositions that I actually tried out would consist of a shield character like Zhongli or any other shielder in order to avoid becoming a floating ragdoll. Pair a shielder with Bennett that provides healing and damage buff, plus Pyro Infusion for the additional 30% attack boost, and add Faruzan to provide with additional Anemo Resistance Shred, Crowd Control, and Anemo Damage boost, and you have yourself a pretty solid team. Now for Faruzan, the more constellations Faruzan has, the better, naturally. At C0 she is only okay, but if you managed to get her at C6, she is gonna be a very powerful 4-star support character for Wanderer. If you want that sweet crit rate increase of 20%, you could switch out Zhongli for such cryo shield characters as Diona or Layla. There are few other popular compositions, such as Wanderer's national team with Xingqiu, Zhangling, and Bennett, Taser team with Xingqiu, Fischl, and Beidou, or you could even go full Avatar The Last Airbender with Wanderer being paired up with Zhongli, Toma, and Xingqiu, or Yelan as an option. Overall, I'm pretty happy to see that even without recommended team compositions, Wanderer can still work pretty nicely with the majority of the characters. You do not need to pair him with any of the meta team composition recommendations. Try it out for yourself and see the results. Now for some bonus thoughts for this little crash course. I find exploration to be very entertaining with Wonder. If you want to climb up some places that are pretty hard to reach and maybe you don't have Kazuha or Keqing or Venti or Zhongli or any other character that uses some mechanic to help you reach certain places, sure, get him. If you don't have an Anemo 5-star character that either has great DPS or crowd control capabilities such as Zhao, Venti, or Kazuha, I would consider pulling for Wanderer. As a 5-star DPS character, I would not consider Wanderer to be a must pull. Put him with a good team composition, good artifacts, get him one of the mentioned 5-star or 4-star weapons, and he will perform nicely. But at the same time, do not stress if you have not received him. He is not broken and you can get him next time. As well, from a low spender perspective, I would say that if you decide to get him when his banner was out, or maybe in the future rerun banner, anything higher than C0 is not worth spending for, unless you lucked out and got some constellations early. This game is easy enough to beat with any C0 character, and you do not need necessarily to have a signature weapon. Well, there is another very important piece of information that I do not recommend missing out on how the Wanderer has the perfect distance of his hovering state while infused with Hydro to start moving from the main gates of Mondstadt and reach the bridge where Timmy is spending his fatherless time with his favorite flying type Pokemon that you could easily land on perfectly. In addition, you can also send him to the Shadow Realm with the newly released trading cards. I am perfectly aware that this joke is overused and I'm still doing it. That would be it from me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing and pressing a like. Also, check out my shorts. And I will see you on the next video. See ya.